I am here with a treat from San Francisco, Peternell, the author of Almonds, Anchovies, and Pancetta, and quite a few other best-selling books. Thank you so much for being here and coming to our coast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's good to be back in New York.
Yeah, thank you. So this is a book that is just such a brilliant concept. Tell me a little bit about kind of how this book is divided, because it's so simple and yet just, I love it.
The idea is that it's a cookbook about the way I like to eat, and I think a lot of us do now. And the way people really have eaten forever, which is a lot of vegetables, grains, greens, beans, and with meat or fish, but not center plate, more like little bits of cured meat and fish
that bring flavoring.
Exactly. It's sort of meat as a seasoning, and I think it's a delicious way to eat, and it's probably more healthful than eating big pieces of meat, and probably better for the whole planet that we're eating less meat. And like I say, there's a long tradition of eating that way. And then the almonds are in there too, because almonds are kind of like the meat of the vegetable world. They have like a similar fat level, and they deliver that same kind of a little punch of flavor and heft. And in the case of almonds, a nice crunch too.
Perfect. So we're gonna make one of those recipes today that just sounds so delightful, and also, you know, has a lot of weight to it without having a ton of ingredients. So tell us about this recipe that we're making.
So this one I called Salsa Rustica, and it's like a salsa verde, but it has the addition of egg and a little bit of pancetta. It's the kind of sauce that once it's on the table, I find people always ask me, like, where am I supposed to put the sauce? And the answer is everywhere, because it's so delicious, and people end up putting it on everything. And as you probably know, just a little parsley and garlic and oil mixed together is a wonderful thing. But this one kind of boosts it up a little bit. It's almost like a bacon and egg sauce.
Right.
It's kind of hard to not like it. I think what we'll start with cooking the pancetta, because we're going to cook it a little bit, and then we'll set it aside, and while it cools, we'll make the rest of the sauce.
Right.
So we have a little bit of just a neutral cooking oil here. It could be olive oil or, you know, some sort of vegetable oil. Put a little bit in the skillet, which we warmed up, and the pancetta goes in there. We'll just let that kind of cook and render a little bit. We boiled these eggs already, and you can just chop them up with a knife, but this tool is so handy to have for so many things. Dipping stuff out of water, out of oil, but also for eggs, you can just push them through, and you get this really nice kind of chunky, irregular, sort of rustic result. So there's the eggs, and we'll season those with a little bit of salt and pepper. So then parsley, we're gonna just pick it. Do you wanna help me pick this off the stems?
Sure.
You know, a little bit of stems are okay, but you don't want the big stems, really.
Talk about the importance of really using fresh parsley here, because I think a lot of people think like, oh, I can substitute.
With a few exceptions, I feel like dried herbs are like dead flowers, you know, or like bringing flowers to someone's house. If you can't bring them fresh, then don't bring them at all. Here's a little trick I have for chopping parsley, is you kind of bundle it up like this into a little pile, and then you can kind of slice it as if it were just one thing, and it gives you a good head start on the chopping. And then if it kind of comes apart, you can gather it back together again, and you know, you want it pretty fine. And like I said, you could put some other herbs in here. A little oregano or marjoram would be really nice. Even a little like tarragon chervil combination would be good. So we'll add the parsley to the eggs, and then a little bit of garlic. A good way to make garlic like into a paste is to smash it just like you were gonna if you were gonna chop it for sautéing, and then add a little salt, like a good little pinch. And the salt really helps the garlic like kind of turn into a paste. It almost, as you can see, it's like almost like liquefied. So that'll go in there. The pancetta is probably, you know, you could cook it to whatever level you like if you want it to get like a little bit browned. So I'm gonna tip it into this bowl and let it cool for a second.
And you know, you talk about this through the book as well. well, but if you don't have pancetta, could you use speck? Could you even, are there other?
Absolutely. Ham, you could use regular
Bacon.
smoked bacon. So a little bit of nice olive oil here.
Yeah.
Maybe that's more than a little bit, but it's like a salsa kind of sauce sort of thing. And I think this is probably cooled enough, and I'm gonna put the pancetta in. I don't think we need to be as afraid of fat as some people are. You don't want to eat it all the time, but a little bit. And there you go. That is a simple salsa. If you wanted it to be a little looser, you could add a touch more oil. But it's nice like this, and this is great on so many things. I love it in the summer, sliced tomatoes, and you spoon it over that. In the winter, say, boiled cauliflower or something like that, it's really nice on. It goes great over like chicken.
Right, it can kind of be added to anything.
Yeah.
You can also store this for a day or two, and it's totally fine.
Absolutely. Look, it's almost like an egg salad. You could just eat that on bread, and that's what I think we should do.
Maybe we will.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Well, Cal, thank you so much for showing us this recipe from your new book, Almonds, Anchovies, Pancetta. The only ingredients you ever need. Thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much.
Thanks for having me.